Socialism is like a nude beach. Sounds liberating until you actually see it. It promises paradise, but delivers sagging infrastructure, overexposed ideology, and no support where you really need it.
Socialism is like a nude beach. From far away, it sounds bold, freeing, even a little adventurous. But once you step closer, the picture changes. The promise doesn't match the reality. What looked simple becomes complicated. What sounded liberating starts to feel exposed, uncomfortable, and unsustainable. That gap between the promise and the lived experience is at the heart of this story. This isn't about attacking people. It's about understanding an idea that keeps coming back in new packaging. It's about looking at the claims, the history, and the real-world outcomes with calm eyes and steady judgment. And it's about why so many Americans, especially younger ones, are hearing the sales pitch without seeing the fine print. Socialism always begins with a warm invitation. It tells people they deserve more. It tells them life should be easier. It tells them someone else, usually the system, is holding them back. And it offers a simple fix. Let the government take over more responsibility, more control, and more decision-making. On the surface, that sounds compassionate. It sounds like a society where no one is left behind. But when you look closer, the picture shifts. The simplicity fades, the trade-offs appear, and the cost, economic, social, and personal, becomes impossible to ignore. Like a nude beach, the idea feels different when you're actually standing in it. To understand why socialism keeps resurfacing, you have to understand the moment we're living in. Many Americans feel squeezed, prices rise faster than paychecks, housing feels out of reach, college debt hangs over young adults, families feel the pressure of uncertainty. In moments like these, big promises sound comforting. A system that claims it can remove struggle, erase inequality, and guarantee outcomes feels like a shortcut to stability. And for people who haven't lived through the consequences of centralized control, the warnings can sound outdated or exaggerated. But history isn't a rumor. It's a record. Socialist movements in America go back more than a century. Leaders like Eugene Debs argued that government ownership of industry would create fairness. Later, groups like the Democratic Socialists of America tried to blend socialist ideas with American politics. Their message has always been the same. If the government controls more, life will be better. But the question isn't what the message sounds like. The question is what actually happens when those ideas move from slogans to systems. That's where the story changes. Socialism grows in the gaps. Gaps between wages and costs, between expectations and reality, between what people hope for and what they experience. When those gaps widen, the appeal of a simple solution grows. But socialism isn't simple. It's a system built on three core pressures. Pressure to centralize. The government must take control of industries, resources, and decisions to enforce equality. Pressure to redistribute. Wealth must be taken from some and given to others, not based on productivity but on political goals. Pressure to regulate. Prices, wages, and markets must be controlled from the top down, which removes the natural signals that keep an economy healthy. These pressures don't stay small, they expand. They require more rules, more oversight, more bureaucracy, and more force. And once the system grows, it rarely shrinks. This is where the nude beach analogy becomes clear. The idea sounds freeing, but the reality exposes everything: weaknesses, inefficiencies, and the limits of human nature. When people are no longer rewarded for creating, producing, or innovating, the system slows down. When the government becomes the main provider, choice disappears. When redistribution becomes the goal, growth becomes the casualty. History shows this pattern again and again. Countries that embraced socialism didn't fail because of bad luck. They failed because the system itself works against human behavior. It assumes people will work just as hard without reward. It assumes leaders will stay honest with unchecked power. It assumes bureaucracies will stay efficient as they grow. None of those assumptions hold up in the real world. And when the system breaks, it breaks hard. So where does that leave us? Not in fear, not in anger, but in clarity. The answer to socialism isn't shouting. It's understanding. It's recognizing that people are drawn to the idea because they want stability, fairness, and dignity. Those desires are real. They deserve respect. But the path to those goals doesn't come from expanding government control. It comes from strengthening the things that already work: personal responsibility, economic freedom, opportunity, and community. These are the forces that built the most prosperous middle class in history. They're the forces that reward effort, encourage innovation, and allow people to rise. A healthy society doesn't promise equal outcomes. It promises equal opportunity. It doesn't guarantee success. It guarantees the freedom to pursue it. And it doesn't remove struggle. It gives people the tools to overcome it. That's the difference between a system that exposes people and a system that equips them. When you step back and look at the full picture, socialism isn't a mystery. It's a pattern. It promises comfort, but delivers control. It promises fairness, but creates dependency. It promises equality, but ends in scarcity. The nude beach analogy works because it captures the gap between the fantasy and the reality. From a distance, the idea looks clean and simple. Up close, it's messy, uncomfortable, and nothing like what was advertised. America's strength has never come from central planning. It has come from free people making free choices, building families, businesses, and communities with their own hands. That's where dignity lives. That's where progress grows. And that's where the future remains strong.
Join the conversation in the comments, respectfully and thoughtfully. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up. Share the link with others who care about these issues. Be part of our community.
Please support the channel by clicking the logo on the left to go to our channel to subscribe, or the screen on the right for your next video. Thanks again.
Your next video is now ready.